Let's now shift our attention to the United States, where the coronavirus pandemic continues to escalate as the country recorded nearly 60,000 cases in the last 24 hours or so. The United States has reported more than 3.4 million cases as of now. This means that nearly 1 out of every 100 Americans has now tested positive for this infection. Since the 4th of July weekend in the US, the country has seen a resurgence of cases in the so-called Sun Belt in the US, which stretches across the south from Florida to California. The surge has led to some states reimposing their strict measures. California's Governor Gavin Newsom has ordered the closure of indoor restaurants, bars, movie theaters, hair salons, and even places of worship. This move is to curb the spread of the infection as cases continue to soar across the state. Hospital systems have also become strained in several California counties. On the other hand, Florida has now become the epicenter of the outbreak in the United States. But even now, with the massive spike, Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis has refused to make mask wearing compulsory in public. Governor DeSantis, who has been slammed for his pandemic response, was even heckled during a news conference with the protesters screaming, "Shame on you."
And you are blaming the protesters. You guys have no plan and you're doing nothing. Shame on you.
So at that time, when we had the
Meanwhile, New York has become one of the states with the lowest infection rates in the country. New York also recorded 0 COVID-19 deaths yesterday. For the first time since the pandemic broke out in the country, the state is now looking to reopen its schools but remains wary of a surge. Schools reopening in New York come with strict guidelines and will only happen if the state's daily infection rate is below 5%.
Between August 1st and the day the school opens, we continue to monitor every day. And if the infection rate goes over 9, then we hit an emergency stop button. Okay? It's very simple. It's clear. Once you get a green light to reopen, then how you reopen, you follow the guidelines. And we leave it to the 700 school districts across the state to come up with the specific plan pursuant to those guidelines.
But even with the recent surge, US President Donald Trump continues to attribute the spike to increasing levels of testing in the United States. Trump called testing a double-edged sword, yet again saying that when you test, you create cases. Listen in.
But no, we test more than anybody by far. And when you test, you create cases. So we've created cases. I can tell you some countries, they test when somebody walks into a hospital sick or walks into maybe a doctor's office, but usually a hospital. That's the testing they do, so they don't have cases, whereas we do. We have all of these cases, so, it's a double-edged sword. At the same time, we have the lowest mortality, or just about the lowest mortality in the world.